Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Conspiracy Karma. so, let's talk about Stargate. Let's talk about Stargate. So, Stargate is what they're calling the infrastructure of AI, right? Oh, and mind you, anything I said on this channel is my opinion plus whatever I have Googled. And so Stargate, it is true that Stargate is the name of the infrastructure of artificial intelligence. Even Trump himself has said that, right? And so I was like, the infrastructure, what are they talking about? And so it took me down this dark rabbit hole, right? And so start now, they're naming AI Stargate, right? Artificial intelligence. And then we have all of these data centers, these clusters of centers that are now popping up all over America, right? And I'm sure they have these data centers in other countries as well, but I'm only just focusing on the American side of it and for now, right? And so I've been saying to myself, what do they need so much data for? What do they need so much data for? Because we've already had the internet for so many years now. We've had so much iCloud space, so much email space. Like, what do they need all this data for? And remind you, to run a data center, you need a water source to keep it cool, and you need an energy source to power it, right? And so I was like, okay, so I was kind of Googling maps of data centers, and I was like, okay, I guess it looks like a mini sort of kind of energy plant, right? And then I started to think, I wonder what is underneath of these data centers, right? What's underneath them? I don't think it's just water and energy just being recycled underneath. I think there's more underneath these data centers, and I'm really going to try to dive deep into it until I can figure out what exactly they have under there. But I just thought it was really strange how Trump named the AI infrastructure Stargate. And so I put this is what I put into Google. I'm just gonna read what Google said, right? And this was really scary for me, but it was also an aha moment, right? And so I Googled, no, I'm sorry. I had to take a screenshot of it actually, guys. So I'm gonna read from my screenshot. So I Googled, where are the two stargates on Earth located, right? It says, so this is what AI says. The two stargates on Earth are not real, but the fictional devices from the Stargate franchise. The show places them in fictional locations of Giza, which is the Alpha Gate, and the Antarctica, which is the Beta Gate, right? And one thing that I have learned about America, or one thing I've learned about media, one thing I've learned about social media, AI, movies, all these things, right? There is no coincidences. There is always some truth in fiction, right? And so I started thinking, okay, so first of all, AI says this is fiction. So I'm like, okay, well, AI, I kind of don't believe you because it's AI's job to keep the mask over us so we don't ask questions, so we don't look for ourselves, so we don't look for information for ourselves, right? So I was like, okay, well, seeing as how um, AI literally just said that stargates on Earth are not real, I totally believe they are real. Just because AI said it's not real, and AI, you're not a real person, AI, I don't believe you. I believe there are stargates. So I'm like, Antarctica. And then I started thinking about this YouTube video that I had saw. Oh, let me see. I saw this maybe about, well, it was definitely before the shutdown. So maybe about 6 years ago, right? On Antarctica, and how there are restricted areas of Antarctica, or quote unquote undiscovered parts of Antarctica because it's quote unquote too cold. But I don't believe that, because with today's technology, they if they can go to the top of Mount Everest, they can get to the bottom of Antarctica, right? And there's also a no-fly zone in Antarctica, right? So I'm like, you know what? There very well may be a Stargate in Antarctica, and that is why parts of Antarctica have been closed off to the general public, or we have been made to believe, or been smoke screened to believe that we can't reach the depths of Antarctica. So I was like, okay, yeah, there definitely has to be a Stargate in Antarctica. I definitely believe that. I mean, I'm gonna believe it until someone proves that there isn't. And then with artificial intelligence, now you see on social media how they can fake your face, they can fake your voice, they can fake movies, they can fake so many things that what I could only believe with my own eyes what I cannot see. So what I'm saying is this: I can't believe that there is not a Stargate in Antarctica because I've never been there before. So I'm inclined to believe that there is a Stargate, aka a portal to the spiritual universe in Antarctica and one in Giza Strip, right? And so I was just like, wow, 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 wow. They probably are hiding it. And they're calling these mini data centers, the infrastructure of those, a Stargate. And I'm like, can nobody see what's going on right now? Humans are trying to strip the veil between our human field that we live on right now and the human for where angels reside, where demons reside, where giants reside. Because there is proof, there is bones, there's technology, there is Bible, there are books that prove that these things are real, right? But I mean, we can look at everyday life and see there's a fight for good and bad. Period. So if you believe in angels, you have to believe there are bad angels too. You have to believe there are demons too, right? Look at the state of the world. Look at the condition of people's minds. Look how people become obsessed and they're not themselves, and then they go on to do horrible things, right? It's because they are possessed by these things that we can't see because the veil has not been lifted yet. But in the last days on this earth, the veil will be unlifted. The veil will be unlifted. And I always assumed that the veil would be unlifted by like the creator of the universe. But now I'm more leaning towards the veil will be lifted because humans want to, they want to be all powerful so bad, right? I.e., Elon Musk admitted himself on video that he wants to create God. What is creating God? Artificial intelligence. And so they are building these stargates. They're building these stargates, these energy fields, these data centers that are collectively giving energy to the data field, they're giving energy to the stargate to tear down the veil which has been holding back the unseen spiritual world that we haven't been able to see with our human eyes. The time is coming. The time is coming. So they say that Alpha Gate is in Giza, or rather Gaza, right? And so we know where Gaza Strip is, right? We know where Gaza is. Let me tell you, if you don't know where Gaza is, Gaza is bum, 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 bum. It's in Israel, the Holy Land. Because Israel is where everything is going to unfold. The battle between good and evil is definitely going to happen in Israel, right? And so I was like, I was watching, I don't know what I was watching, I can't remember, but somehow Saddam Hussein became the topic, right? And then it was like, okay. And I kind of remember, oh, well, of course I was alive when he was when they hung him in that building, right? Because the video went like viral. And then at the time, America made it seem as though, oh, he's an evil person that has to die, right? Or be unalived, right? And that's funny to me how they said it, because now that we look at America and all the evil people that are running around on their private islands, doing ungodly things to children, just everything these people that they keep on living that do the exact same things that Saddam Hussein had did, but supposedly he deserved to be taken off this energy field, right? So then I started Googling all this stuff, and I seen how Saddam Hussein actually believed that he was Nebuchadnezzar, right? And then I was watching this video that even kind of like showed how like he was a part of the bloodline of Nebuchadnezzar. And I was like, wow. Now Nebuchadnezzar was the king who wanted a totalitarian rulership. He had a big tall image made after him that he wanted worshipped, right? And Saddam Hussein actually had a palace built similar to how Nebuchadnezzar had his palace built, right? And if you look at it with your one level mind, right, you would just say, okay, he's a rich guy who built a palace. But if you go deeper, you will see that, oh, he had this spirit of Nebuchadnezzar that he wanted to be worshipped, right? Okay. And then if you go even deeper, you would recognize that he actually was protecting a part of the land in Israel that had a stargate somewhere in there underneath it. The technology for the stargate was there at Gaza, right? The technology is there. And Americans actually went in there to steal the technology and use Saddam Hussein's assassination, I call it assassination now, as a smokescreen to steal the Stargate technology. And now here we are all these years later after they've taken that person, Saddam Hussein, off of this playing field. They now have the Stargate technology. They're building all these data centers that are all connected to something bigger. So, and they play in our face. They say, "Oh, the infrastructure of AI, us joining AI here and all over the world. We're gonna call it. We're gonna call it. We're gonna call it Stargate." As if it just means nothing. As if it's just a name that fell out of the sky they used. As if they've never heard of Stargate before, until now when they finally start to unleash their AI infrastructure. Now, I'm not trying to say that Saddam Hussein was a good guy. Definitely, he did some atrocities, right? But there are people right now doing atrocities that the American government is letting live, literally. So I knew that was a lie back then, but I couldn't put my finger on it now. But now that knowledge has increased, and now that the internet has accidentally given us knowledge to think, see, first, they've given us knowledge of things that they didn't think that we will put together with our own human mind, because some of this stuff is just plain old common sense, right? It's just plain old common sense. Stargate. So Stargate is a portal. It's a portal. It's a portal. Stargate is a portal. And did you notice how all this CERN is a portal. All the CERN technology has increased because they went and got the information they needed from foreign countries on how to build CERN, right? Because CERN is an energy field too. It is a portal. And I mean, have you guys saw the last ceremony that they had when they were worshiping Shiva? Because they worship energy, because they know that the more energy they have, they can open this portal that unveils the earth to let these spiritual beings cross over into our playing field. I don't know why Elon Musk thinks that he can create God. Because if you can create God, why not make yourself a God? But we see what happens to every human that thinks they can make themselves a God. They end up dying. So now they just have to make a machine that they believe is God, that they believe will live on and on, but this isn't so. We know that the end time is coming soon. There will be a great battle, and the evil people and the wicked people will be defeated. They know their time is short here, and so they're trying to speed up their process of of taking off the veil. And the more I think about it, when I think about the Miami incident a few years ago where people said they saw like alien type figures walking around a mall in Miami, I think that there was a tear in the veil and the human eye was finally able to see the beings that actually walk around us every day that we can't see because of the veil. I think that's what happened in Miami. I definitely believe that people saw beings in Miami. A tear happened in that spot, and when it happens, humans can't control a tear happening. What can we do? We can do nothing but run to the hills and run to the mountains and seek God out for help, right? So hey, call me a conspiracy theorist if you want to. That's fine. I don't mind. I've been called worse. But I'm definitely planning on connecting the dots on my channel. I definitely plan on thinking outside of the box and thinking for myself. And I'm definitely going to be just falling into the rabbit hole of the internet on this channel because someone has to be the one to start connecting these dots because mainstream media is just is just is just trying to cover your eyes until the day comes where they finally can no longer cover your eye and these things are plainly in front of our face. And they're going to say it's AI, but we know what it is. It's not AI, it's the veil finally being lifted on this planet. Okay, so I will talk to you guys later. Bye, YouTube.